Okay, can you hear me? Hello. Hi. Everybody can hear me. No, but oh, I can hear me back now, so I'm going to take the headset off. How are you guys? We got to find a monkey somewhere. This is Professor Julie or Dr. Julie, or you can just say just Julie. That's fine. Maybe they went out in the big room. I don't know. I don't see them in there. They were in the window just before we went live. So anyway, if you're new to this chat, oh, there's Appa. There's Appa right there. If you're new to this, we're going to be watching Appa and Momo, the two Alveus. Before Professor Julie or Dr. Julie or just Julie. I have a PhD in experimental psychology that focuses on animal cognition. And I've been working with a variety of species in my career, but the last 26 years I worked with cotton-top tamarins, who are critically endangered species. I took in tamarins that had been in research labs, and we tried to raise them and care for them naturally in our lab at my college. I'm a faculty member at a college. And we created a really rich data set of social behavior and family patterns, and also we tested their perception and cognition and had them play games on iPads and all sorts of things, and they aged, and then they slowly passed away, and we lost the last one about a year ago, so I donated all the new equipment I had in enrichment to Alveus, and that's what brought me here. And then I've been helping out with the marmosets when asked, when I get asked for advice. There's Appa. He's a common marmoset or a white tufted marmoset. And hi everybody, I know I'm missing people. It looks like Posh is here and Simply Samira. Okay, Bug Catcher, Casual Ruffian, Stolen, Aloka, Roxer. Space is here. Dan, it's great. Thank you for coming. Oh, and Izzy, my child, is here. Yay. That's great. Princess Poophead, I like to say your name. That's fun. Nikki is here. Yay. Skizzy is here. LPB, I've seen you around. Grandel Florp, Honeybee, Juju. Oh my goodness, so many. This is great. Thank you for coming to visit. So, I have some ideas about what we can do today. I don't know where Momo is, but also I want to try to answer questions that you have about the monkeys, and we'll try to observe their behavior for about an hour. And then I want to try to plan out what we could do. We're going to do 4 episodes of this, 2 in October and 2 in November. And I have some ideas, but I'd love to hear your ideas. I'll take some notes. Okay, yes, they poop a lot. All right. So someone said hadn't seen them poop. I'm going to make this bigger so I can. All right, and then I'll read over here. Okay. Oh, I'm almost below. Okay, that's fine. We'll try to get them both together if they're interacting. A lot of times they'll kind of go on their own. So I'll say something about them. I also have some videos and some graphics to use to try to talk you through all of this. But please ask questions. And I will, try to catch them. If I miss your question, ask it again. Sometimes I have trouble with it, keeping up. Yes, I have noticed that much the emus out there. Is that where Momo is? Oh, it's got really interesting to them. A bird that large, they've seen birds flying around, so it's got to seem odd to them, a 2-legged thing that walks that way. I bet it's a really interesting thing to watch. Oh, it's lagging. Okay. Can you hear me though? Is it okay, or is it bad sound-wise? Oh, it's breaking up. I can scoot the mic closer, maybe. Okay, it's fixed. Jane the Green, yay, people are back. I don't have any video, but so the two monkeys are both types of marmosets, and they're a New World monkey, which means it's a monkey that evolved, split off of the monkey line around 35 or 40 million years ago, whereas Old World monkeys, so New World monkeys live in South America and Central America. And Old World monkeys split off more recently from the common primate ancestor line. They split off like 25 million years ago, and they live in Asia and Africa. And then apes split off 10 to 15 million years ago. So they continued to evolve. So we share, and we're part of the ape group. So we share more sort of genealogy or genetics, I should say, and evolution similarity with Old World monkeys. We share most with apes. We share some with New World monkeys, but as you go backwards in time, they will have branched off and evolved special skills and things that have to do with their kind, right? So why did no New World monkeys become native to North America? That's a really interesting question. You know, there was a fossil of a monkey in Wyoming. I'm not even joking. They named it like Teton something because everything is Teton in Wyoming. So there was evidence that, and it was a small monkey. It was probably like the New World monkeys, right? That they are all tree dwelling. But in general, they didn't move up. I'm sure it had to do with the glacier situation and the temperatures and things like that. So monkeys wouldn't do well in bitter cold. And I think we were colder back then, millions of years ago, than South America. So that would be a trouble. So they never wandered up. They wandered over because they had to get to South America, although the Atlantic was not as big, a little tiny thing, and they just kind of floated over on things. People suggest it might have been rafts. I don't know. You know, we're just sort of making it up at that point, right? But they did end up, and they live very well in South America and Central America. And we haven't found fossils of much else in North America, so I don't think they ever migrated up there, okay? So my tamarins that I took care of for 26 years and studied are also part of the same group. It's called Callitrichidae, and that is means beautiful hair. And they all have, you can see now, we're looking at Appa's back, and it's just lovely, long, multicolored hair. And if you look up tamarins and marmosets later, you'll see that they vary a lot in terms of what kinds of markings they have. My cotton top tamarins had a big white fluffy top, and their ears did not have hair, and then they were mostly black on the back, and black and brown and white. These guys are the only monkeys that have striped tail except for some lemurs. And I have to tell you, so lemurs broke off the earliest, like they're the less they broke off in the very early, they're closer to a primate ancestor that is almost like mammal, right? So they're more like mammals. They're called prosimians. So simian means monkey. So prosimians would be before monkey, right? And so lemurs broke off the primate chain and developed on their own 55 million years ago. So that was much longer. Remember, I said New World monkeys were like 35 million years ago, and Old World monkeys 25, and apes 10 to 15, and us about 6 or 7. I didn't say that, but I said it now. So you kind of get the idea. And there's a couple different species of lemurs that have a striped tail, but interestingly, their tail is, the rings are made of monochromatic hair. So it's all black hair and then all white hair and then all black hair in rings. These guys, their hair is multicolored as they go down. So it could be a longer strand of hair that has bands of color. And that's why the back looks so mixed too. Some of that hair is brown, but some of it is black and white, and some of it shares that And so it's just beautiful camouflage. Oh dear, they're going to knock that table completely off. Momo, who has no white tufts coming out of his ears, he's got black tufts. He's called a black tufted marmoset. These two marmosets would be pals in the wild. They can interbreed. I mean, these guys are both males, but they do sometimes interbreed. They might hang around together. But I have to tell you that marmosets don't hang out in a big troop. Oh, hi, Sam. Is waving too. They form groups based on their family units. So while you might see a bunch of them if you see videos of a city in Brazil and there's a bunch of marmosets, you might think, oh my gosh, there's like 20 marmosets, but they're not a troop the way that, so tree-dwelling monkeys didn't form hierarchical large groups. And the reason is they're isolated. They can't see each other. They can't, often within a family, they can't see each other. And what that resulted in is they have extensive communicative signals because they have to count on audio signaling to know where each other is rather than visuals because they're up in the canopy, right? This is why they scent mark so much. Everyone comments about them peeing on their food and peeing on everything. Well, if you were up in the trees, I mean, I don't want to, you have to imagine to be a monkey. Little tiny monkey up in the trees and you had a family and you wanted to scent mark things that were food related and where you were, you'd have to do that, so they can wander around and so they can tell by your scent that you were there and they can hear you, but they can't see you necessarily. And so that's why there's so much peeing on everything. They're basically saying, I was here and I tried this food. If they like the food, they'll pee more around it. So there's scent marking. It's not really pee. I shouldn't even say that. They have glands down there near their anus that they rub. You can see them rubbing, so they're kind of pushing a chemical out. It's probably got a little pee too, I'm not gonna lie, but it's mainly, this kind of almost like a musky thing going on that they're doing. Oh, they're very happy. I didn't even notice someone bringing in the chipmunk. That's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, so I guess when they evolved too, I should tell you, I haven't told you some of these facts like about the ringed tail. That's very unique to these marmosets. They also shrunk in size evolutionarily. So people have found cranium, so their skulls basically, and their teeth, molars, to see how big they were. And my cotton-top tamarins got big at one point, bigger, one size bigger. And then it was JKLOL evolutionarily, and they got smaller again. So it was one time this happened. Oh, we're zooming in on the hair and the teeth and everything. That looks great. And these guys shrunk 3 times evolutionarily. So they were bigger than this, and they shrunk once, they shrunk twice, they shrunk a 3rd time. And so there must have been some survival benefit to being smaller up there. So a lot of the marmosets, if you look up, there's like 48 different species of marmosets and tamarins. And actually people are struggling with redefining some of these groupings, sort of like I'm sure Evan tells you. I know I've been on sometimes with the bug stuff, and Evan has said things about all of a sudden a bug is a different kind of bug according to everyone. You shift it a little bit. They've been doing this with the New World monkeys because they just basically said, all you guys in the trees with the tails, you're all New World monkeys. And then, it was they came by a sort of similar Latin name, and then they started regrouping. And just lately, like 2018 was the last time they tried to redo this, and they pulled the lion tamarins out of the group and made them a separate group, things like that. I don't think this is going to last, Appa. I know you only weigh about maybe 400 grams, but you're going to knock that thing right off. He's not very heavy, so they weigh less than a pound. Okay, so I kind of described how they evolved and why they look the way they do. I can say something about their behavior. Oh, Amanda's on her way. Okay, it's going to be okay. He's just holding on. You know what? He's so fast, he'll just jump. So it's not going to be a problem. Hey, Space, could you show? I just want them to see some other marmosets running around just because they seem nervous about Appa, and I think you need to see how they move. So if you can show marmosets playing on the ceiling, that would be great. And meanwhile, Amanda will fix the table. Oh, Ophelia, hi, and Quidwix is here, yay, and It's Big L is here. Oh my gosh, I missed you before. Sorry. Gray Seapaws is here. Bagel Deficient is here. Unknown 450. You guys, I know all you. Quokka 65. This is great. Yay. Nat loves lichen. I've seen you in here recently. Merger asks, why did they not evolve to have prehensile tails? Seems like that's all upside down with no downside to have. Yeah, okay, good. I can tell you the kind of New World monkeys that got prehensile tails, and they're all bigger than these guys. So I think oh, okay, I'm going to let this play, and I will continue to talk when it's done. Can you hit the, uh-oh, it disappeared. On me, it disappeared. Can you see it? I don't know. No? Okay, oh, here we go. We're trying again. We're trying again. But these are the same kind as Appa. Oh, and it just won't play? What's wrong? Oh, okay. So I'll keep talking. Oh, he's trying again. Space, thank you. You have so much patience. Oh, it just keeps slipping off. So you can't grow your own prehensile tail. So the New World monkeys that have prehensile tails, and prehensile tails are tails that allow you, they can grip things so you can actually swing off of your tail, right? So it's like having a fifth appendage. So Merger's right, that would be handy, right? What would be the downside? What happened is it ended up settling in the larger New World monkeys. So it's like the spider monkeys, the howler monkeys, the woolly monkeys, and capuchins aren't that big, but they're bigger than these guys. So I think what happened is it was probably a genetic anomaly, which was across a lot of different New World monkeys, but it stuck with the larger New World monkeys, because the larger ones, they were destined to get faded out. The ones that have gone extinct in this category are all bigger. And I mentioned before the cotton-top tamarins got bigger one time and then they went back down, meaning the ones that survived were the smaller ones. It's not a choice, right? But if you get bigger and then you're getting eaten more and you can't move fast enough, then the small ones are the ones that will survive, and then they end up being smaller again. In this case, they probably have a bunch of them may have had prehensile tails at one point, but the larger ones who had them survived, and the larger New World monkeys that didn't have them died, and then it just didn't carry anywhere else. So I hope that makes sense. So we do have them there, but they happen to be, I think there's a high correlation between the size of the monkey and whether it gets a prehensile tail. And we still didn't watch the movie, did we? No. Are we not able to see it? I'll just let him work on it. The reason I wanted you to see the movie, maybe we could just see the picture. If you can show the picture of the MARM enclosure at University of Sterling. I wanted you to see like different enclosures and different monkeys doing things. They really enjoy going up very high, and they're very, very active when they have a lot of things that go across the enclosure horizontally, especially ropes, but also pathways. And so I thought it'd be fun to see that. We're considering changing some of the inside of this fairly soon, and so these are kinds of considerations for that. Was there ever an evolutionary cousin ancestor that had half a tail? I always wonder what mid-evolution things look like. Yeah, so, oh, there's the picture. So I have video of these monkeys playing around in this place. And they go across a lot of the higher elements here, especially the ropes and things, and jump and stuff. And I thought it might be fun for you to see. This is also a very large family of white tufted or common marmosets running around. I also have videos of them in little hides, like the square one that you can see in the upper right corner, we don't necessarily have to see it, but they really can. You've probably seen Appa. I've seen Appa take off and tear through the place at different times. So I haven't actually seen Momo go super fast, but they're capable of jumping. If something's falling, they'll just jump and grab something else. The things they have to grab have to be somewhat soft because they have claws. That's another thing about New World monkeys. They all have claws. And some of the larger ones ended up with nails. And then all the old world monkeys have nails, not claws. And we have nails, and apes have nails. So claws are more like a mammal characteristic. And so, these guys were the first guys after lemurs, after the prosimian. So they're going to carry some of the mammal characteristics as well. And claws work well if you are grabbing onto wood, which they would do naturally. They'd be in trees, right, climbing and jumping, and soft things, leaves and things like that. So the ropes and the wood items, they're going to be a little worse on metal or plastic, because once they land, they can't really grab and hold on. They're almost like cats that way. They want to dig their claws in. So chimps have nails too. Yeah, if someone's asking, do chimps have claws? So, and it also helps that they have claws because their thumb isn't completely opposable. It's just a semi-opposable thumb. So if you move your thumb to be more straight next to your fingers, so it's not like able to go out into a kind of cup shape, they're more like that. There's Momo now. Is he sly? He's just not moving. He's in his lemonade stand mode or something. And oh, there he moved. It scared me. I thought it was frozen. So they're more relaxed now. So I think the claws help for them to grab onto things. They can't really, so they're not that's very good. They can pick things up and you'll see their thumb move. It's not that they can't move, it's just semi-opposable, so they can't really, if it was a plastic or metal item and they're supposed to grab it like a pincer, like we do, they can't really do that. But softer wood is great. I love how you have picked, oh, okay, good. Yeah, so, okay. We're talking about the lemonade stand now. So I can say a little bit about what they would do in the wild, if that's something that would interest you. What time is it? Oh, 3:24. So they would, these guys would get up like at dawn, whenever the sun is up. That's probably when they would wake up. They'd be up in the trees. They would have slept together in little holes in the trees in family groups on top of each other. Their body temperature lowers overnight by as much as 10 degrees. Oh, you can see them moving now in the corner. Look, that's the other movie. Okay, it's the crazy movie. Watch. Okay, this is what they can do. You'll see, so a lot of times they go upside down and people think that's weird. That's really common to hang upside down. They love hanging upside down. And this is just crazy time. Space, I don't know how you figured it out, but thank you. Because it was a mess, right? They can throw themselves. Now they'll throw themselves 10 feet. My Tamarins would do that. I've trained students how to shut the doors and stuff because we had really big cages, and say you have to go out backwards because they can throw their bodies 10 feet and they'll be outside the cage and you'll think you're fine and you're not. I mean, they're not going to attack you, but we didn't want them loose because then we'd have to trap them. Like I'd have to grab them or net them to get them going. Oh my God. That's crazy, right? So it wouldn't have been a terrible, what Appa would have done with that falling table is just jumped onto the shelf. I mean, he would have gotten out of the way, and he's so much faster than a falling table. You know, he would have noticed. And in fact, that table those things have fallen before, and he's jumped out of the way. So they can move really fast. I think if they had more things going across the room, they would be crazy like that sometimes. I mean, they can be at the bottom too. So they just, they're going to hug the top because it's going to feel more like a tree. And they will come down and they will go all the way to the ground, especially lab-reared or illegal pet trade, because they've been, wandering everywhere. So they'll be a little less fearful of that, but they still won't like it. Like when Momo goes down there, Appa screams his head off. And similarly, now they're going to relax a little bit, which is fine. We can still talk about things. So they would get up at dawn. They would right away eat gum and sap out of the trees. They would use their teeth to gouge the bark and suck gum and sap out. Now, I know we try to give them gum, and you can buy gum for them, tree gum, supposedly. But it's not really the same stuff. It's not exactly the same stuff. It's coming out of an acacia tree, and they mix it with things. It's a sweet, syrupy thing that they would normally get. It has good sugars for them, but they have tummies that can't really process a lot of different things. So one thing that helps with the gum is there's bacteria in there. You can imagine a tree that's got gum inside of it would have bugs around, and there'd be bacteria, and it's also hot a lot of the time, so that ferments. So it's like a kind of a fermenting bacteria thing that you're eating. So it's like yogurt to us, right? And yogurt to us, the yogurt has good tummy bacteria in it. And that's why it's important for them to have yogurt, because the gum and sap, they don't try to stick bacteria in there because they don't know if that's going to be stable, and they don't necessarily. It's a different kind of thing that's going to come out of the forest, right? So that helps them a lot, and they eat a lot of it, and it helps them to digest. And so and then they would eat a lot of bugs. So if you notice them looking around, I don't know if we can find them. They may be in the window again, looking at the emus. I don't know where they went. They left the bubble. Well, we'll wait for that, but I can still talk. So they would be running around in the trees trying to catch bugs, and they might eat, see, upside down. There you go. They would also, open up eggs. They would eat fruit. They eat some greens. They wander around a lot to find this food. They also watch out for predators. So they're going to seem very nervous all the time. They're always looking around. And partly that would be for bugs, to find bugs to eat, and partly it would be to watch out for predators. And there's all sorts of predators. There's big cats. There's hawks. There's snakes that love to eat them. They're small, so they're like swallowable. So to a snake. So. Do you think they'll enjoy the eventual emu eggs? They would be way too big. I think you'd have to break them and cook them or something, give them part, and they'd never know it was an emu egg. But because those eggs are huge. But they love eggs. I used to boil them and chop them up. I didn't give them raw eggs, but of course they can eat raw eggs. I was just nervous, so with my tamarins. But I gave them the same food. They also get canned diet, and I think these guys get the dry food as well. I'm not sure. I guess that's a question for Kayla. But so sneaking the yogurt in is trying to get that tummy bacteria in there, because they will have trouble digesting things, especially like carbs and things that you would expect might not get broken down as well. So they need fiber to push everything out, and they need some kind of bacteria in their tummy. So that's why I think that Kayla had tried cauliflower recently, and they're trying different kinds of fruits. And I noticed that, like, Appa won't necessarily eat he'll chew on melon and then spit it out, which some of my monkeys would do. That drove me crazy because they need the fiber. So that's what they would do. They take a couple naps during the day, a mid-morning nap and a mid-afternoon nap after eating, and try to avoid getting any predators. And they'd make a lot of calls because they would get separated sometimes because they run around like that. I feel if Momo and Appa knew about the concept of a nice cup of tea, they'd love to sit with their little drink. Yeah, they do. They really are. It's really a lot of fun. Some interesting things happened today, right? First of all, Momo groomed Appa for a fairly long period of time, which was kind of shocking. And I was really happy to see that because we usually see Appa grooming Momo. And we can talk about their relationship. So everybody that's got, here we go. What are we doing now? Oh, we're splitting the screen because they're in different rooms. You guys are fancy. Okay. Nice. Very nice. So there's Momo. And they also produce a lot of calls, and we hear their fees, and a lot of the chat know about the fees. All of these things came from research, right? That how we identify it. We're not just guessing what they mean. You want to collect data. And I guess I was going to say something about Jane Goodall at one point, because we lost her yesterday. But one thing that she was very meticulous at is to watch the animals and code all of their behavior. Her archives for a long time were up at the University of Minnesota, and so I got to run into her several times. It was quite an experience. And so you really want to, if you want to collect good data or understand what something is and not just be questioning, that's what you have to do. And she would do that, and we did that. So, and other researchers did it. So what they did was they took marmosets who were in enclosures and would separate one, maybe it's for a vet visit or something, and see what call they made when they were separated. Now, they knew who was in the other room, just like if I took Appa out of there, he would know Momo was in the other room, or Momo's here, Appa's in the other room. They would have like a couple of monkeys, marmosets in the other room, and see what call the one that was separated made. And it didn't, the call the one that was separated made it never varied depending upon who was in the other room. So, if you had 3 people, A, B, and C in the other room, it was, or D, E, and F in the other room, they didn't make a different call. And if you were trying to get somebody to help you, it would depend on who's on the other side, right? Who you would call. And so they were calling the same thing every time, and it turned out to be their signature call. So in monkey world, when you're separated, at least the New World monkeys, you say, like if I was separated from you and I was nervous, I would say, Julie is here, Julie is here. And if you think about it, that's really smart. I wish people said that instead of help, because, you don't know who's saying it. I mean, if you're looking for somebody, if they'd say their own name over and over, you could find them, right? So that's really a smart thing, and it works very well, I think, for them to find each other. If they're separated in the wild, it wouldn't be because of a vet visit. They're just lost, and then they just say their own name over and over again to try to get somebody to call. Now, we figured out their own names by them separating and doing that then. So that's why we know Appa is a 3-fee call and Momo is a 2-fee call. They can call each other too. And so if somebody's in trouble, and they want the other one. So if one's on the ground and the other one's up high and they think it's a bad idea, they might call the one that's on the ground. And so we hear Appa calling Momo a lot, because Appa is a very nervous guy, and he'll call himself sometimes to say, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm over here. Like when he gets on the camera, he loves saying where he is a million times. Or if he's pretty far away from Momo, he'll say his own name. But then when he gets nervous, I heard him when Momo was looking at the emus today and Appa was in the other room. Appa would do a long 1-fee, which was help. And Momo would look over and not move. He just wanted to see the emus. So he just sat there, but he always looked. And then towards the door, I mean, he couldn't see Appa. And then Appa started saying Momo. And he said Momo like 3 different times, and Momo looked every time, but he didn't go over. So, you can kind of read between the lines. If they just make a really long single call, that's a signal of help and alarm and predators and things like that. Sometimes they do that with collabs present and stuff like that, or people outside. Okay, what's this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. My show's on. Like, he didn't want to leave the window. I just think they really are fascinated by the emus. So that was another thing I thought was pretty remarkable, and I think they're going there a lot. It makes it easy on those of us. Oh, there's the calls. Space is ahead of me. So this is what they look like, these calls. The fee call, if you understand like a sonogram kind of output. And I can talk a little bit about what they're used for. So the fee is going to be the help call, and the trills are usually food related. The small like tisk trills, there's combinations. We can't hear them very often because they're quiet, but maybe now that it's a little louder. Oh, okay, we're getting very tiny. And then there's a louder chatter that looks like the twitter that is also when they want to be territorial. So the trill fee is a combination of the trill and the fee, and you can do that over food as well. There were some studies of food calls, and we were able to see two different kinds in that study. That was proteins like crickets and mealworms. There was a particular shape. It was a combo call that was quiet and more twittery. And then the other call that they made that was not a combo, a single trill, was for fruit. So, yeah, okay, I'm glad. X Crazy Lifey says, I think we heard trills when AC was there on Tuesday. Yeah, they're quieter. They're just sharing with each other that food's available or what kind of food is available. Is there a reason why Momo doesn't answer as much? So I can get into the relationship between Appa and Momo now, I guess, for that. So Momo seems to be sort of the more dominant, I want to say, or at least like the dad figure in the room. He is the caregiver to Appa. He also tries to warn Appa. Appa treats him like he is more dominant. So that's why Appa grooms him more. But we just saw today Momo grooming Appa a lot. So we'll have to watch for that, right? And Appa takes food right out of Momo's mouth or out of his hand and eats it. That's a baby thing. So no, that only happens between parents and children in marmosets. So when the babies are young, the parents let them take food out of their mouth and they let them take food from their hands. But adult marmosets wouldn't be doing that. So Appa is acting like he's the child when he does that, and Momo is trying to be sort of in charge. And I think Momo was older than Appa when they did get put together. They haven't always been together, and Momo was alone with as a pet or somewhere. I don't know. I don't know all the details. I know he was alone for a while, and then he was put together with Appa, and I think Appa was younger. That's usually what they do, is they'll put a younger monkey with an older one before they sell them. So Appa could have been a baby. He was eating food, but he was very, very young, I think. And so there's an age difference there. And Momo probably had to show him the ropes a little bit about how to eat and do things. And so they established that relationship. They're both adults now. So Momo, I think, knows that Appa will call a lot because Appa's more juvenile acting. And so the adults don't always respond to the children calling, because children can make fake calls. Like they might make a predator call and there's nobody there. Like a leaf is falling and all of a sudden a baby will go, "Rah," which is like, there's a bird, And so they kind of look over and see if it's a real reason or not for responding. And also I think he's trying to just not be so hands-on. Like he's just, he knows Appa's okay. Appa is an adult. Appa can handle it. So I think he just tries to back off. But Appa gets nervous very easily. Appa's got a very short, run up to having some anxiousness. So he's fine, and then he's anxious. And he also puts himself in situations that makes him anxious. Like he will jump on a collab person who he doesn't know, and then it starts to make him nervous. And he has a little tendency to nip at people as part of his anxiety. He doesn't bite. He's not drawing blood, I don't think, most of the time. I don't see it that way anyway. They can be vicious. I mean, my Tamarins, if they really wanted to fight with each other, they would sink teeth in, And Appa's got teeth. Momo's got less teeth, but he has teeth. Have you been able to translate the Marm's iPhone chats recently? Yes, I'm just trying to read while I'm talking. I don't know what that means, but they're very interested in pushing things, the buttons, or things that look like buttons on an iPhone screen. They love screens because they love reflection. They love mirrors. They like to see their own face. They like to see a face moving that looks like a monkey. We started doing that a while back, and they really enjoy those still. They haven't habituated to that. They constantly, yeah. I don't know what it means. You should look at a keyboard, I guess, because it was E and P. I'm looking E. Oh, P is really far away from E, though. I guess I don't know how that looks on an iPhone. I'm guessing the key. A lot of the characters are near each other, and I think Appa, wasn't it Appa, put his face on there. And that's a very long one that's everything together. So I'm not going to be able to. I don't think they're trying to communicate with us through letters yet. I think they would try through their calls, and they may end up having calls. I think they have a call that is the AC staff are coming, because a lot of times I hear it sounds like a combo trill fee call just before they come in. So I think that they do. I don't know if it differs by the person that's coming in, because a lot of times they can see who's coming in through the fence, and then they will make a call too. So I don't know where they went. Watch out now, the camera screws up if you go too low. So I think it's locked now, so it can't fall apart. But yeah, it's hard. These cameras, I feel bad for these cameras, because they're meant to not be 360-degree cameras, I don't think, when they're mounted the way they are. And so we kind of force them to do things. Do you think they have names for the? Yeah, I think they might. I don't know. I don't hear. I'm not sure they. So what might be happening is sometimes they don't know who's coming because they didn't see them. It depends on what door they come in or what angle they come up to the door if they don't see them. But I hear a call. I hear a call usually that's different from a fee call when they're coming. And it's one of the ways I noticed that I know they're coming because the crows go crazy. I don't know how I don't know the layout of the land, but the crows go crazy flying around when people are coming to feed the marms. And then the marms usually make a call. And then I've been trying to listen for whether it changes when they can actually see, because Appa will get on the fence to see who's coming a lot of the times. And I just I don't have enough data to be able to say. Since they're outside cameras meant for all oh, they are meant, okay, I don't know anything. I haven't seen the cameras, so, but yeah, they do have a call for that. Okay. Oh, I wanted to do so many things today. Well, we've talked about the relationship between them. I guess one of the things I'd like to, talk about before we're finally at the end is what you could be doing, and kind of relating it to Jane Goodall. So we mentioned her before, and she was an amazing person. She did a lot for conservation of species, and she did a lot for chimpanzees for sure. We need a lot of help with monkeys. There's not a lot of sanctuaries for monkeys, and there's not the kind of support for monkeys that there is for chimps now. But the chimps have a lot of support in part because of Jane Goodall. But I just wanted you to realize, she started out, she was really interested in animals, and she was in college and left early. She didn't graduate, and she took a ship to Africa because she had a friend who had a farm there, and she met Louis Leakey, who's a famous paleoanthropologist, I can say that. He hired her to open a natural history museum in Africa when she was there. And then he said, "You want to watch chimpanzees?" And she just sat. This is what she was really good at. She sat in a corner and got them used to her, and she watched their behavior, and they acted normal. And guess what you're doing every day that you're here? These animals are not bothered by you. They can't even see you, but you can, look at the mirror use. This is great. You can watch their natural behavior, and it's incredible, the power for that, because you can really understand. If you watch, what you would do if you were Jane Goodall or you were doing it officially is, minute to minute, you'd write down, like, where are they? What are they doing? Where are they? What are they doing? Like, this guy's running across the fence now. Yeah. And you could, if you had a question like, how often are they up versus down lower, you could code that. You'd spend an hour and check every minute where they are. Where are they? Where are they? If you were curious about a toy, do they enjoy it? How often do they get on it? If you're curious about the mirrors, you can also code like what behavior they show in the mirrors when they're looking in the mirrors. This is how you start to understand, what they're thinking, and how similar and how different they are from us. And and Appa is passed out again. Yes, it's hot, and he ate some snacks. It's very sad news, but yes. So I think that she also switched sort of mid-career. I mean, she was just watching the chimpanzees and building this huge database, which, like I said, was at the U for a long time. And she ended up going back to school, and she got a PhD, and was able to publish it. She also got into a lot of trouble because she named the animals that she was watching to keep track of them, like David Graybeard and things like that. And she would observe social behavior that looked a lot like human behavior. And at that time, it was like the 60s, you weren't supposed to name your subject. They were numbers. You were supposed to treat them differently. You weren't supposed to look for, she seemed like she was being anthropomorphic constantly, right? And so the crowds were not, thought she wasn't, and she wasn't as trained as some of them in terms of the educational level. So there was a lot of criticism. She had a heck of a time. And she, you know what? She found that chimpanzees did a lot of things that humans did, including using tool use. And that was documented regularly. It wasn't just a surprise fact, right? They modified their tools, and this changed the way that people thought about chimpanzees. Louis Leakey said something like, now we have to redefine tool, he said man, I am sorry, that's sexist, but humans, or accept chimpanzees as human. That's what he said based on her data. And they have these complex, rich social relationships. That's why we know grooming, it means something, from Jane Goodall, because she said, look, they're communicating things. They're reconciling problems. Who gets to groom whom is very important in terms of defining the relationship and reconciling issues that they've had. It's not just picking bugs out of fur, right? And by watching who does what to whom and when, and keeping careful notes, she did that. And now the last years, since like 1980-ish or so, she's been working on trying to get people to change their minds about how we use the land and protect, and how we think of animals, because we really should be protecting animals and keeping them here and keeping the species alive, right? And so I think you could all be Jane Goodalls. That's what I want to say to you. You're already watching animals. You just want to do it carefully, and you can make suggestions, and you could do things in other venues, zoos, shelters, whatever. And then we want to change people's minds. And Jane would say that every one of you, is going to make a difference if you work on that. And that's all we need. Okay, don't cry, because I might cry. Yeah, it's hard. We just have to carry on the traditions. It's very important to keep it going. And I just want you to know that it's not impossible. It's not like she was some grand dame who was out of reach. She was just like us. She was just a normal person who who happened to like watching animals. And obviously you do, and I do. So, and you learn a lot. People make, and people want, or people often are biased to think that animals aren't very smart, or animals don't have some of the qualities they do. We're biased more towards thinking they're different from us than thinking they're similar. And that's why I think it's important to try to look for both. I don't know that the monkey knows that that's himself in the mirror, and you don't know that he doesn't. You have to study it, right? You can't just decide because he's a monkey. He can't know it, or the wolf, or anybody. But we can tell by defining what they should do in front of a mirror if it was them, and then look for that. It's not like it's just an empty argument that you just have back and forth. There are ways to collect behavioral data and figure it out. Oh, someone's clipping me. Don't clip me. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that you appreciate it. I had spent a lot of time with the tamarins, and I know a lot about them as well. So I wanted to do some giveaways, and then I want to make sure that I answer any other questions. Oh, and I wanted to talk about what we're going to do next. But don't write right now because I'm sending a thing to do a gift. Is it going? Okay, there's the first one. It's a beanie. I think you have to write enter or something 1,000,000 times. Oh, is it pick me now? Oh, that's crazy. I have a second one. It's going to be a tote bag. But I will wait until this one's over. I don't know if you're okay with entry. I think you can listen to, right? Hello, Appa. Appa always has those hangy arms. It bothers me. But so I had some ideas, and I want your ideas about what we could do. Oh, did we do it wrong? Oh, I see. Okay, thank you for explaining, Tazen. So it says pick me, but they're actually saying enter. Okay. I was like, that's weird to do that. Oh, someone got it. Yay. Oh, no. So now I have another one queued up. Hold on. Let me see if it'll go. I'm trying to pick things that you like. Okay, so this one is a tote bag. Which is a big one. You know, you need it in the fall if you're buying books and stuff. Okay, good. Yay. And I'm just going to wait a little bit so that, you know, we can, because I want to see your input when I mention some things that we could be doing. Okay, yeah. So I guess you have to go ! redeem to get your gift after you won it. So make sure that you do that if you win it, because we don't want it just sitting here. Does it make you nervous that Abba has been allowing collabs to pay him more? It does a little. I'm not going to lie. He does the lordosis move, which is a scientific name for laying your chest down. He's laying all the way down to show submission before they do it most of the time. Sometimes people reach in and he's not doing that, and I get very nervous because I think he could snap at them. But so you should wait for that. I'm not sure why he's being so submissive to everybody either, but he's kind of a juvenile monkey. He might just be trying that out. Like, I don't really care anymore. I'm not sure. So maybe it's fine with him. If it's fine with him, it's fine with me. I just, you know, it used to be kind of more exclusive. It is very in your space, personal space, you know. And if I'm 100% sure if you stuck your hand like people do towards dogs, towards these monkeys' faces, they would try to nip them. So people have to be kind of careful about how they approach that head and back. Maya's very good at guiding them. So I think, you know, I think it'll be fine. But it's an odd thing for a monkey. I couldn't pet or touch any of my monkeys voluntarily. They're like, I don't think so. You know, I did all the medical stuff too. So and the care. So you know, they were not thrilled if I came super close. Some of them would come up to me and they would take treats from my hand and stuff, but I couldn't like run my hand down their back or something. That's not something they would put up with. Okay. So I know when he was sick, so I was worried that combo is something too, like he's being more submissive when he's sick. So we'll just have to see. If he does it with everybody and he's starting to, then it's not because he's sick, because that's uncorrelated then with him being sick, right? He's just doing it all the time. Yeah, you can't stick your hand in their face. I think, you know, hands up, palm up, they sometimes let him climb on them, and so they may not think but nails up, I think they would, you know, take a bite. So one thing I was thinking about is talking more about social behavior. That would include mirror stuff, and how they interact with each other and cooperation and things like that. That's one idea I had. I would love to hear your reaction. Another was why we want animals as pets, because these guys are sought after. And we could talk about the illegal pet trade a little bit. I'm not going to, not how it works, not a manual, but, why is it that people are drawn towards these kinds of animals? What are they seeking? Stuff like that. We could talk about that because it is a problem, and we can talk through that. And then the third idea I had was development, how they develop, both when they're with their kind and when they have to develop alone, because I've had to do both with tamarins and with birds. And we have some animals here that are more alone when they developed, and it causes some issues with they're special needs animals, let's say that. Socially they have a hard time. Do you have a favorite development? Okay, should we do a poll? I don't know how to do a poll on here. I don't know if Space could do a poll. We could use social development, and we could number it. I'll just number it so we save some time. Number 1 is social, number 2 is pet trade, animal, and number 3 is development. Can you say which one, or say all 3 if you want to? I mean, we have 3 more meetings, so I could do all 3 if that's what you want. I don't think we know if monkeys have Down syndrome. I had a monkey who had epilepsy. And that same monkey was a slow learner. It was just a coincidence. I had to spend so much time with him. I realized he was slow with his development. So I think there was a learning disability kind of thing going on, but we never, I don't think the genetics would look exactly the same. So it would be hard to do that way. Okay, so I get some 2s and all 3. Oh, all 3. Okay, all 3. All right, we'll do all 3. That's fine. So the question about autism, there's one quality about the autistic syndrome, which is that they have trouble, autistic people often will look at the local features, the little features on something, at the same rate as they do the global features where everything is together. So and young children are like this. That's why they can find little objects and things like those, I forgot the name of the books that have the hidden objects. They're always better at it than adults. And that's why those books are great, because they can find a button or a little miniature airplane or something. And it's because they switch back and forth just seamlessly between local and global features. And the monkeys do that as well. But adult humans don't. We favor the global stuff over the local stuff. So they have one feature, and autistic people are kind of stuck looking at both. I think it could be a superpower. I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. So yeah, it's very like detail oriented, right? So I tested that actually with autistic kids, with monkeys, with college students, and with young children to compare them. That was a big study we did a while back. Okay. Oh my gosh, Molly, you counted everything. Good. Okay. Well, let's start with social behavior then, because it has the most votes. We'll start with that, but we'll do all 3. Is that cool? And it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to have to go because they need the camera back. So thank you so much for showing up. I'm so glad you were here. We'll see you October 16th in 2 weeks. I think it's the 16th. Look at the calendar because I'm not sure. It's 2 Thursdays from now. All right. Thank you. Bye.